I know what I'll do. I'll take all of my federal bureaucrats whose job is to like conduct intelligence analysis and have them, I don't know, round up homeless people in Santa Barbara.
Oh man. Oh man. Who is surprised? Who is surprised to see good old Vaush, the horse humping libertarian socialist, coming out strong in defense of the deep state? And this is how you know he's a Fed. If it wasn't already so obvious that he glows from a mile away, here is yet more evidence. But before we get into this, don't forget to leave a hate comment, share it to make your friends angry, and consider going into the description section and subbing to me on Patreon. Anyway, let's dive right in.
Dude looks psychotic. Me when I do a foot-long line of coke before they take my official photo. He looks so evil. This guy's an actual psychopath. He is a QAnoner, like full-on QAnoner, not coded or ashamed of it at all. Full-on, like Truth Social, talking to @Q, that kind of thing. He was signing children's books that he wrote, because of course they all write children's books, because they're all groomers, with Where We Go One, We Go All.
Can you believe this guy is probably going to be head of the FBI? We are so back. The revenge tour is in full swing. These swamp creatures are crapping themselves right now. I love it.
I forgot that MSNBC is super boring.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lisa Booth, along with Julie Banderas, Charlie Hurt, and Dr. Mark Siegel.
Going
and
back
this
to
is the
this
Big
one.
Weekend Show. We begin tonight with a Fox News alert. President-elect Donald Trump has just nominated Kash Patel for director of the FBI. Trump made the announcement on Truth Social just moments ago. During Trump's first term, Patel served as the chief of staff at the Department of Defense. So, Charlie, not too long ago...
Not as interesting as the five. Yeah, but it was a surprise nomination, so the five weren't around for this one. Have to get on it immediately. That's why they're getting the Fox News alert.
Donald Trump said that Kash's new book, talking about how he's going to completely eradicate the deep state and also firings at the top ranks of the FBI would sort of be the blueprint for what he would want to do in his new administration. I mean, the deep state needs cleaning. The Department of Justice and the FBI also need some firings and some reform as well. So what do you think he'd be able to accomplish as FBI director?
Quite a lot, apparently, and the power structure was already very scared of a Trump presidency. They were afraid, they knew intuitively that Trump was going to choose someone who was going to clean house. They were afraid before anyone even had an idea that it would be Kash Patel. And this guy is clearly dedicated, clearly will follow through.
I wonder what, depending on who it is and what the incoming Trump administration wants to accomplish, I wonder what we'll discover inside the DOJ.
Well, what we're hearing right now is that there's a lot of paper shredding going on.
No doubt.
Both physically and electronically. This is taking place. The bleach bit is, being bought by the gallons right now in the Department of Justice. One of the things that I mentioned in the presser after the hearing today was I was asked by my attorney, asked me to go public with the name of the person at the Capitol Police who demanded of the Department of Justice that they put me in prison. Now, it's like, wait a minute, what? Why would a Capitol Police personnel point me out? It's because of the stories that I've done on the Capitol Police.
They are desperately trying to hide their crimes from the light of day as we speak because they know they're about to be held accountable.
Well, obviously, Kash Patel has a unique observation and history with the FBI. He has been on all sides of the FBI. He, working for Devin Nunes in Congress, of course, had oversight of the FBI and made life difficult for them. But that was, of course, before he realized just how corrupt the FBI is. He's also been a target of the FBI.
Do you know about Kash Patel's weird children's song about the persecution of Trump? No, but I guess I'm probably about to. And yeah, it's pretty par for the course. A lot of these right-wing grifters, and Kash Patel isn't just like a straight-laced government official or anything like that. I mean, he's actively participate. He's basically like a pundit, like a content creator. You know what I mean? Like he occasionally dabbles in government, but for the most part, he's just in it for himself to like get attention. Yeah, I remember this. The plot against the king, and it's Hillary Clinton. Yeah, it's Hillary Clinton trying to take down the good King Donald Trump. See, that's Trump. Patel uses 4chan. It's enough. First of all, this is grooming.
The projection is unbelievable.
Second of all, yeah, it's another like fit in the soy right? They're up there with Vivek, Elon, and JD Vance, whoever or wherever he is, where they are so immersed in their insane right-wing culture that they're true believers, essentially.
And the reason he was a target of the FBI is because he pressured the release of information exposing that the FBI had illegally spied on President Trump's campaign and during his presidency. And the idea that this was only in Washington would this be shocking. He has experience. He knows where the bodies are buried, and you will not be able to fool him out of actually doing some of the cleaning that needs to be done.
In the book is Government of Gangsters. So let's look at some of what Kash has done. He has served as the U.S. National Security Council official, senior advisor to the acting director of national.
Has the right always been so soy? No. This is very much like a 2020 and onward thing. This is 100% a like post January 6th shift.
It's so funny. Him and his followers are now attempting to appropriate the word soy and use it against right wingers. Like, what is this? They're just so unoriginal.
Intelligence, also as the chief of staff to the acting United States Secretary of Defense, all during the Trump administration. So, Julie, this is someone that Donald Trump trusts. Right. Yeah. And we saw him face the deep state during his first administration. We all remember the Russia hoax. We also remember the 51 former intelligence officers who lied to us, telling us that Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation. So it's important, particularly at the role of FBI director, for him to have someone that he trusts.
Yeah, and there is a history of a lot of deep state, if you want to talk about the deep state politics here, but in the FBI in itself, just trusting the FBI. I mean, we have not trusted him in past administrations, the FBI in general. The directors and former directors and also members of the FBI have been leaking information.
Did anything materialize out of the laptop? No. All that fuss and hubbub. And nope.
Okay, first of all, there's a detailed report about this. So yes, things did materialize. Hunter Biden is guilty of 191 sex crimes, 128 drug crimes, and 140 business crimes, all documented on his laptop. There are even photos of him with suspiciously young-looking girls. There's also, not to mention, tangentially related, that diary where Ashley Biden mentions taking showers with her dad. This is a very messed up family. And here you have Vaush in typical Fed glowy fashion, pretending it's nothing, just like the intelligence agencies want you to believe.
Information to the press in order to advance their political purposes. And the FBI should not be a place of politics. I mean, the FBI has a role, and the FBI has really lost a lot of credibility. I mean, the FBI does not have credibility. So I think he obviously...
The stupidest leftist be like, whoa, when did Fox News get woke on the FBI?
It's so funny watching Vaush pretend like he's not defending the FBI while totally defending the FBI. There's no way, if you are genuinely a leftist or a libertarian socialist, a progressive, whatever, it should be totally inconsistent with your ideology to support the same institution that did operations like COINTELPRO, that's broken up labor movements. But of course, as we all know, the left are just a bunch of stooges for these organizations who will never realize that they are being used as puppets.
There's going to be backlash. Everyone's going to criticize on the left that Donald Trump has yet once again picked another, conservative who happens to also be a friend, who happens to be an ally. But that's kind of what you need in this White House, because if you don't pick people that you trust, then that's when the leaks happen and that's when the backstabbing happens. And for once, he's got people surrounded by him. And I know that Trump is very much a loyalist and he believes in the people that are loyal to him. And so you know that you're not going to be getting that with Kash.
That's not what a loyalist means. What you're talking about is someone who demands loyalty from all the people around him, which is like autocratic by definition. Like not at all a red flag that the only qualification you need to meet to be the advisor to the president is you have to agree with everything he says.
Look at him try to spin this into a bad thing because Trump isn't, he knows he needs people who will actually cooperate with him and carry out what he says instead of people who will just resist him at every turn like he experienced under his last presidency. Vaush is just so dishonest.
Patel, and with a lot of other nominees that he's chosen to elect.
Yeah, and this is someone who's also faced 2 assassination attempts as well,
Yeah.
right? So he really needs people he
to
can
trust his inner circle.
I think that the key
They're
point.
really playing it up with the second one, dude. I like the implication that like Trump would be assassinated by a cabinet member or something. The second assassination attempt was literally like a guy behind a tree 500 feet away who never fired a shot. Let's survive 2 assassination attempts. Come on, let's dial it back a little bit.
Dial it back. Dial it back. What is he talking about? That guy was a lunatic Ukraine supporter. He's like, oh, well, he didn't even get that close. Can you even really call it an attempt? Like, there were leftists on Twitter, I think the Krasensteins did this, where they were seriously like, oh, well, the guy didn't fire a shot, so you can't say it's an attempt. Like, oh, man, they are trying so hard. The facade of them being the sort of peaceful, cerebral, procedure-following, mature adults has totally cracked. Like, so many of these people are lunatics, have been radicalized by CNN, by MSNBC, by all the irresponsible things their Democratic politicians and thought leaders and all these so-called intelligence agency experts have been saying. Even if you don't like Trump, 2 assassination attempts, really probably 3. There was that suspicious Armenian guy who was like a sovereign citizen who somehow like, didn't have a press pass, but was trying to get into a place he shouldn't have been. That was probably number 3, to be honest. But even if you don't like Trump, 2 attempts at least. The social fabric of this country is coming apart. This isn't a dial it back situation. This is a we really need to talk. America needs to have some important conversations about what's going on here. But instead, you have Vaush, like the scumbag he is, run defense for these alphabet agencies and act like, oh, 2? No. Second one, not even a big deal. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I'm having a difficult time finding much recent that he's said, Normally, somebody with a position this important would have been like running a bit of a media circuit beforehand.
Maybe that's because he's not actually some attention-starved grifter like you were accusing him of being earlier in this video.
It's just that one interview snippet.
I do want to get your take on the breaking news that is coming into our newsroom. President-elect Trump selecting Kash Patel as his FBI director. As a former FBI agent, what do you make of this pick? Is there any insight into Kash that you can share?
Look, this is difficult because I really do try to be apolitical in the things that I say, but I want to back this up with a little bit of fact first. I think the first thing is there is no question, in my opinion, and I've been very candid about this, that the FBI does need some change. There's no question. But my concern about appointing someone like Kash Patel is this staunch loyalty that he has and the fact that he has talked about before that he really wants to, I guess, almost seek revenge or avenge those who have wronged Trump. And that is not...
And him, he wants to go after Barr.
The purpose of the FBI. And so I am concerned about the scope he will have. However, at the same time, I do like the idea of reducing sort of the administrative workforce at the FBI.
I genuinely think that since the only qualification for being a Trump cabinet pick is loyalty, the main line of argument that you should be using against conservatives is, wow, that's great. How will this make things better for the American people?
How will getting rid of a bunch of corrupt liars who infiltrate political movements and pull off psyops be good for the American people? I don't know. Beats me.
Because it seems like the only thing Republicans are interested in talking about right now is how like epic and base this great day of retribution will be. Okay, like, do you want to make things better for the American people? What are they going to do? How will things get better for people? They seem to get angry when you ask this because they know that's not what they care about. Here's something. Oh my God.
This eye-opening story from Politico.
This is before
reporting
the
that
pick.
Justice Department officials are ready to quit. Warm welcome to the show. Former Trump White House National Security Council official, the author of the best-selling book, Government Gangsters, Kash Patel. Cash, it's your debut.
Absolutely horrendous suit fit. Jesus Christ. Worsted wool with a formal suit, no tie, unbuttoned. And look at the hem on these pants, man. You can see sock even on the leg that's at rest. Yeah, I mean, it's a tacky cover, but also the fit, horrendous.
I guess this whole suit diatribe is supposed to pass for humor or something.
You here, we were so excited to talk to you. Cash, what do you make of what Politico is reporting? Can you tell us what's
Also, this guy really does look like a psychopath, doesn't he? Jesus Christ.
So excited to talk to you. Cash, what do you make of what Politico is reporting? Can you tell us what's really been going on inside the Justice Department when it comes to Democrat abuses of power?
What an auspicious day to make my debut. We are the home of the free because of the brave. Happy Veterans Day to everybody. And look, I was a national security prosecutor at the Department of Justice. I recall Russiagate, being the lead investigator at the House Intelligence Committee, where we exposed not just FISA abuse, but unconstitutional activity against a political opponent. Where was the outcry then? Where's the outcry from the career officials since, when Christopher Wray and the FBI illegally surveilled 275,000 Americans in 1 year alone? The reforms have not been implemented by these career officials. And let's reflect back on the Trump administration and his time in DOJ. He didn't seek retribution or revenge against anybody. He wanted to follow the Constitution and the law singularly and have it applied equally to all.
He's lying. That's not what they found. What the well, yeah.
And these
Notice how Vaush has basically nothing to say about all the very real, very illegal government surveillance that was going on. He's just like, someone just says, oh, he was lying. And he's like, oh, well, yeah. He has no response to this. He doesn't want you to know about it.
career officials were absent and silent in the face of that massive corruption.
So Politico reports Justice Department lawyers with ties to Jack Smith and Robert Mueller's probe that staffers who are, just working with these lawyers, they're concerned they're going to be either frozen out or fired. Won't it depend on his attorney general pick, if it's Senator Mike Lee, former DNI John Ratcliffe, or Ken Paxton?
Look, those conversations will have between the president and the AG, but I just want to point out a legal principle that the Department of Justice has issued for 50 plus years, that it is in violation of the executive branch and the judicial and executive judiciaries to commingle investigation of a sitting president. That wasn't a decision by Donald J. Trump. That was a decision by the Department of Justice. That's not a decision by an attorney general. That's one.
Why do all these fascists sound so whiny, like Tucker and the stupid bald guy? Unironically, because they're weak men. I'm not even kidding.
It is amazing to hear Vaush call other men weak when he is into dirty images, dirty anime images of underage girls and also bestiality.
There's a reason why, if you compare a lot of these guys to the old guard Republican neocons, the establishment guys who kind of succeeded on their own terms, they don't usually grow up with a grievance. If you grow up with a grievance, if all the time you're thinking about well, the society's, but if I make it this way, there's a very real risk of you turning into this kind of guy. It's like incel syndrome, but in a broader political context. Elon is the perfect exemplification of this, which is why he comes off insanely uncharismatic and weak and whiny. Not to say neocons are necessarily bad. Well, no, actually, neocons are a far stretch better than guys like this. This guy is a lunatic.
Neocons are better than people who are concerned about illegal government surveillance. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The ultimate gem right at the end of this video,
in which the Department of Justice has adjudicated that it would violate the separation of powers clause for a sitting DOJ to investigate a sitting president. They are simply following established law.
Cash, how bad was this Biden White House in terms of lawfare abuses and government corruption?
Whatever, man. We'll be seeing plenty of him in the near future. He likes Fox Business. I love the mainstream media, man. Why economists hate Trump's tariff plan. Way to kowtow to the narrative of the right. The tariff plan isn't bad because a bunch of needly little Poindexter economists disagree with it. It's because it's objectively bad. It's essentially economic law.
And leftists are all suddenly now pro-free trade. Did you know, they've forgotten, but did you know Bernie Sanders used to be anti-immigration and also pro-tariff? And we've just completely forgotten that. They would have been totally on board with that economic program. But apparently tariffs are according to economic law, objectively bad. You know, all countries basically have tariffs to some degree on one good or another. It just, these people have no principles, and they're literally willing to say whatever the MSM tells them to. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Consider going down into the description of this video and following me, subbing to me on Patreon, and Red Channels will catch you in the next one. And of course, shout out to General Jack Ripper for being my first patron.